Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is James Stewart, and it is my distinct privilege and honor to serve as your elected sheriff of Anoka County. And on behalf of myself and the entire Anoka County Sheriff's Office team, welcome to today's ceremony. Due to social distancing restrictions, this year's award ceremony was postponed until April 29th today, and the award recipients were invited to attend the ceremony. We encourage your family and friends to view the ceremony by live streaming of the Anoka County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. And if you'd like to be emailed the direct link to the YouTube video, please contact our staff and we'll be happy to arrange that you have that, either my secretary Kelly Haig or Tierney, our community outreach coordinator. On behalf of myself again, and Chief Deputy Helwig will be joining me shortly, and the entire Anoka County Sheriff's Office, we do welcome you to today's annual awards ceremony. For our viewing audience at home, yes, we have firefighters in the audience. That's the noises you're hearing. This is an important event over the course of our year, in a time when we recognize the outstanding contributions that members of this office, partner agencies, and members of the public have made during the course of the previous year. These contributions occur day in and day out during the course of daily duties for the members of the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. And I'd say that it's very safe to say that each and every day, someone in this organization does something exceptional by merely performing their job duties. These are jobs that are oftentimes the general public might not notice or are not willing to do on their own. However, today, we also have the privilege to recognize some of our partners and citizens that have clearly stepped up and gone above and beyond as they chose to put others above self. Today, we live in challenging times. They're sadly divisive, and it distresses me to see our protectors being declared as the enemies in so many different parts of our nation through negative rhetoric and propaganda. And I have traveled this great country, and I have met with protectors literally from every single region. And one thing has consistently held true, and it's that our protectors are good men and women who have chosen a career path in which they seek to serve something larger than self every single day. They chose to make personal sacrifices on behalf of their communities, and they chose to raise their hands and swear an oath to serve and to protect others. They feel so strongly about their service to others that they know it involves sacrificing family time, weekends, holidays, varying shifts, personal safety, and may even mean laying down their own lives in order to complete their task and keep others safe. Statistically, our peacekeepers have outstanding track records of service, and we must not let a few divisive hate mongers divide our communities or our country, nor can we ever let Hollywood dictate what direction our moral compass should point. Simply put, our protectors remain worthy of our appreciation, respect, and support as they continue to put others before self. Today we acknowledge but a few more of the reasons why that continues to hold true. These protectors come from our office, hold different titles, and have differing responsibilities, but none of their jobs are easy. Yet they are jobs that as a society our very coexistence relies upon. Each day as we go about our daily lives, someone must ensure that our court system is safe for citizens seeking justice, that people are sentenced to jail, remain in jail, and are treated in a firm but fair manner. Someone must respond to the bad car crash, the suicide, the burglary, medical event, COVID illness or death, or investigate a homicide or a case where a child has been abused by an adult. Someone must stand in the middle of the heated domestic argument or respond to the robbery call to ensure the safety and security of the victims whom we encounter daily. Our services have had to evolve to combat the evil who put money above human lives as they sell meth and heroin to our children, or too often just choose to sell children for sex. Someone must stand in the gap. Someone must be willing to say, no more, not on our watch. Someone must put others above self to maintain a civilized society. And every day the members of this office have chosen to be that someone. Every day they do something exceptional and worthy of recognition, and I am truly grateful for the service of every one of our members across every specialty unit and all 6 divisions. But most of these efforts must simply be viewed through the lens of what the expectations of society are, which makes those day-to-day performances a case of our team merely doing their job. So to every staff member of our office, whether receiving an award today or not, thank you for your service and your commitment to serving others. You hold our values of honor, sacrifice, and pride close to your hearts, and you wear them on your sleeves to make sure that we are all proud of the performances that you put out every day. And you know that our mission statement, to protect and serve the community in a manner that preserves the public trust, is much more than a group of words. It's our purpose, and it is our promise. And you know that your service is essential, it matters, and your efforts make a difference every single day. Occasionally, an individual or individuals go above and beyond that which is merely the routine of day-to-day law enforcement. And it is those contributions and those efforts that we are here to recognize today. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office General Order Policy 1030 provides that we recognize and acknowledge exceptional individual or group achievements, performance, proficiency, heroism, and service of our members and individuals from the community through commendations and awards. And annually, our awards committee reviews the nominations of staff that were submitted as recommendations for formal recognition. And today, Chief Deputy Helwig and I take special pride in presenting awards to those who were selected. It is with a great sense of pride that we formally begin this year's ceremony. First on deck, Detective Joseph Price. Please join us up on stage. Detective Price will be receiving an office commendation. Detective Joseph Price is receiving an office commendation for his investigative efforts in the resolution of a 2013 sexual assault case that had previously gone unsolved and for his handling of a murder-suicide. The 2013 sexual assault case had been linked by DNA to a serial rapist with 7 victims in Hennepin County. Detective Price was tenacious in his follow-up of all possible leads, and his efforts were important to the overall investigation. He received high praise for his exemplary investigation by the Minneapolis Police Department and the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, and he assisted with bringing closure to a 7-year-old cold case and resolution to multiple victims in other cases outside of Anoka County. The next investigation was assigned to Detective Price on April 29th, 2020, that involved a husband shooting his wife and then himself. The son of the victim wrote an email to me highlighting how well everyone at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office treated him during such a difficult time, and specifically Detective Price. On the son's worst day, Detective Price showed him professionalism, compassion, and took the time to show that you cared about his well-being. And Detective Price continued to guide him through the next steps of the investigation and assisted with releasing items, obtaining copies of reports, and answering his many questions. I continue to appreciate your ongoing efforts, going above and beyond, and I'm honored to present you today with an office commendation. You can present it. Okay. We'll both shake his hand after. Congratulations. Next up, Detective Michael Swanson. Also be receiving an office commendation. Detective Mike Swanson played an instrumental role in the United States versus, Septic Yorog, very good, which is a federal criminal case. The person in this case was a victim of human trafficking and was forced to perform sexual services and work in the defendant's restaurant for several years without pay. Detective Swanson was involved through many aspects of this difficult case, from the initial report, the investigation, and the court process. Detective Swanson was able to identify that there was much more to what was happening based on the information obtained by the initial report. He worked with other criminal justice partners, including Homeland Security investigations and the Attorney General's office, to federally charge the defendant. The defendant used his knowledge of our laws to fraudulently bring the victim to our country and used him for sex and forced him to work at the business without pay. Detective Swanson worked tirelessly to keep the victim engaged during the prosecution, and he continues to be someone that the victim reaches out to due to the struggles to survive after the sustained abuse. The defendant was given an above guideline sentence and required to pay restitution as well. Detective Swanson was also recognized by the United States Attorney's Office with its Law Enforcement Award. He has continued to shine brightly in this arena to show what the passion to serve others and to stop the ongoing victimization looks like. And for your diligence, your persistence, and your dedication during this difficult investigation, we proudly award you with an office commendation.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thanks, Chief. Yep. Thank you.
The next office commendation will be going to Deputy Jonathan Cheetah, who we will be presenting it to after the ceremony. During 2019, our office learned of a large-scale drug dealer operating in the Anoka County area, and it became clear that the drug dealer would be difficult to investigate as the dealer changed phone numbers, vehicles, addresses, and associations to thwart law enforcement efforts and cease illicit activities. Deputy Cheetah utilized a variety of methods to gain evidence. The content of numerous online research ultimately revealed a lot of digital messages that helped catalog the suspect's activity. Deputy Cheetah then spent weeks scanning the data page by page. This was exhausting work, but he identified this method, not commonly used prior to an arrest in the narcotics world, as the most useful method to gain information on the suspect and those aiding him. Deputy Cheetah also communicated with several other agencies to arrange warrants and controlled purchases from co-conspirators. Doing this allowed him to begin to identify a drug conspiracy of several individuals who were working regularly with the suspect to distribute high volumes of methamphetamine to the community. Several pounds of methamphetamine were recovered, most of which can be tied directly back to the suspect. Physical surveillance was another tool that he used to obtain evidence. Deputy Cheetah performed regular surveillance on numerous residences, businesses, and several vehicles. The suspect changed vehicles regularly and was impossible to use mobile tracking that we had grown accustomed to aid in his surveillance. The inability to use some of our traditional methods created an extreme disadvantage. Despite complications and obstacles, Deputy Cheetah pressed on and worked with the county attorney's office and was able to arrest the suspect for first-degree drug sale without having physically recovering the drugs from the suspect. In early December, Deputy Cheetah initiated an operation to arrest the suspect and take down his drug distribution network. During this operation, he executed 3 residential search warrants that yielded the following results: seizure of approximately 10 pounds of methamphetamine, seizure of approximately 1/4 pound of heroin, seizure of 14 firearms possessed by an ineligible person, and seizure of thousands of rounds of ammunition possessed by an ineligible person, $18,000 in drug proceeds, and 2 arrests for first-degree controlled substance sales and possession. The suspect has been charged and federally indicted. Due to your overwhelming preparation, skill, and resolve to finish this investigation that will continue to have a significant impact on our county and the entire metropolitan area, we're very proud to present Deputy Cheetah with an office commendation. Next up, Civil Specialist Heather Rivers. Heather will be receiving an office commendation. During the summer of 2020, Heather Rivers was tasked to work with state and federal authorities to identify mortgage foreclosure groups that were potentially involved in fraudulent activity. Heather was familiar with these groups as being problematic in Anoka County for their dealings with our office in foreclosure sales and redemptions. Heather began the exhaustive task of reviewing 5 years of foreclosures and redemption transactions. During her research, she identified 176 different properties that were purchased under 18 different company names associated with the suspected fraudulent groups. She created spreadsheets for each of these company names, each of which contained substantial details. Heather included detailed notes on redemptions, purchases, and other activities such as junior lien holders, mechanic liens, and deeds. Heather dedicated her on-duty time to ensure that the records were meticulously reviewed and documented. The results of her extensive and detail-oriented work product was sent to the state and federal partners to be included in their lengthy and ongoing criminal investigation. Heather, I commend you for your dedication, your high quality, and your detailed work product, as well as your collaboration with our law enforcement partners on a group that has been problematic to the citizens of Anoka County and beyond. And I'm very proud to present you with an office commendation. Next up, Deputy Cole Bangerter and K-9 Hines for an office commendation. On January 15th, 2020, Deputy Bangerter and his K-9 partner Hines responded to the Speedway in Ham Lake to assist in locating a suspect involved in a homicide in the city of Blaine. The suspect vehicle was located at the Speedway and deputies observed footprints leading away from the vehicle. Deputy Bangerter and his K-9 partner Hines began the track with other deputies providing security cover for your team. The K-9 team picked up a track and began tracking. This track went by several businesses and across Highway 65. The track was lost for a short time, but the K-9 team reacquired the track and came upon a business with vehicles in the lot. K-9 Hines pulled to a truck in the lot and began barking and clawing at the passenger door. Verbal commands were given to the individual inside the truck, and the male exited and was taken into custody without incident. He was the driver of the vehicle in the related Blaine homicide. Our K-9 team spent a significant amount of time training for these type of calls, and the discipline it takes to be a successful K-9 team is certainly impressive. In this case, Deputy Bangerter and K-9 Hines reaffirmed the value of our K-9 teams and what hard work can look like for successful outcomes. For your significant, timely apprehension of this homicide suspect, we're proud to award you with an office commendation.
Sure. Is it all right if you can share?
Deputy Jesse Cutler and K-9 Diesel will be receiving office commendation. On February 11th, 2020, Deputy Jesse Cutler finished an overnight 12-hour scheduled shift. After his shift, he monitored a burglary in progress in the city of Columbus where suspects were on foot. Deputy Cutler and his K-9 partner Diesel responded and began a track. A track was discovered and one suspect was located hiding in a neighboring shed, and Deputy Cutler then tracked the second suspect out of the woods on a track for over 5 miles long. The suspect was also located and taken into custody. And it should be noted that several different deputies had accompanied you throughout the track and had to be swapped out due to fatigue. For your perseverance, your dedication to duty, and certainly that pursuit of excellence, we are very proud to award you today with an office commendation. Deputies Chad Erickson and Jacob Bayer, next in the hot seat. They will also be receiving office commendations. On February 15th, 2020, 2:31 a.m., deputies responded to a suspicious vehicle call. Deputy Lean was the first to arrive to check the vehicle. The vehicle was parked 500 feet up the homeowner's driveway next to his attached garage, and the homeowner had no idea who the vehicle belonged to. Deputy Erickson soon arrived, and deputies discovered fresh footprints in the snow going east from the vehicle. Deputies followed what appeared to be a female's footprint in the area, and the footprints then disappeared into the clear tar roadway. Deputies checked the neighborhoods while Deputy Erickson attempted to determine if the vehicle was stolen. Deputy Lean went back to the vehicle and unlocked it to search for any names associated with the vehicle. Deputy Bayer arrived a short time later along with Deputy Bangerter to assist. Deputies Erickson and Bayer continued to look for footprints during this time as the other deputies cleared the call. Around 4:48 a.m., deputies Erickson and Bayer reacquired the footprints and began tracking the female through the neighborhoods. Deputy Bangerter soon joined the track with his K-9 partner, and deputies Lean, Berggren, and Kohler helped with a perimeter to contain the female who had been exposed to temperatures in the teens for a minimum of 2 hours at this point. Deputies tracked the footprints through the neighborhoods and observed the footprints going up to various buildings which appeared to be attempting to gain shelter from the extreme cold weather conditions. After 3 hours of searching in the cold weather, deputies Erickson, Bayer, and Bangerter located the female in a truck at 831 Crosstown, and the female was obviously visibly cold and unable to even effectively communicate with the deputies. An ambulance was then ordered. And if not for the diligence and perseverance of deputies Erickson and Bayer to continue searching for this female, she would have certainly succumbed to the extreme cold weather conditions, as she was not dressed appropriately for the weather. Deputies Erickson and Bayer, I'm very proud to award each of you with an office commendation. Next up, Detective Matthew Aker for an office commendation. In June 2020, we received a report of a sexual assault that had occurred 9 years prior involving a former middle school teacher and a juvenile victim. Detective Aker was assigned the investigation. The suspect was ultimately charged with 4 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, 1 count of second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and 2 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. This case started with 1 victim reporting a sexual assault and evolved into 11 separate reports. The case was ever evolving and took a tremendous amount of organization and follow-through to keep up with the growing needs and the challenges that were presented. Detective Aker was complimented multiple times during this investigation by the Anoka County Attorney's Office for his thoroughness and the way he handled the victims and witnesses in this case. In sexual assault cases, victims can be reluctant to come forward and give the required details needed for a thorough investigation. Detective Aker demonstrated incredible professionalism, patience, and the ability to walk victims and witnesses through difficult situations and obtain the information required to hold the suspect accountable for his actions. Because of all of those reasons, we're honored today to present you with an office commendation.
Sure.
Next up, Detective Patrick Nelson and Detective William Jacobson for office commendations. On August 27, 2020, a male was found unresponsive in his home with an apparent gunshot wound and was pronounced deceased on scene by EMS. Detectives Pat Nelson and William Jacobson were assigned as leads on this case. A comprehensive investigation that included many members from the Criminal Investigative Division, the Crime Scene Unit, the Lionel Lakes Police Department, the Anoka Hennepin Narcotics and Violent Crimes Task Force, and the Midwest Regional Forensics Laboratory was conducted and led to the arrest of 2 suspects, a brother and sister. Many contributed to the successful investigation. However, the efforts of Detectives Nelson and Jacobson went above and beyond. The details of the thoroughness, the extent of the evidence collected, and the lengths that you both have gone to in conducting this investigation can't all be fully disclosed, as at this time we are still talking about pending trials. However, many have noted your exceptional efforts just to bring this case to justice. And it can be stated that the investigation has and will continue to bring credit to both of you, as well as the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, as we proudly continue to serve our communities. We're proud to present you both. Although Detective Nelson couldn't be here today, we want to present you both with office commendations.
Thank you, sir. Great work. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Next up, Deputy Brian Pearson for office commendation. On October 27th, 2020, Deputy Pearson received an order for protection that needed to be served on an individual. The order required the removal of the respondent from the residence. As Deputy Pearson met with and served the order, he learned that the respondent had a 2-day-old child, and she did not have anywhere that she could go, a vehicle, friends or family, or any other resources to assist her. The weather on the date of the removal was unseasonably cold, and there were concerns for the well-being of the respondent and her child. Deputy Pearson assisted the respondent in attempting to identify and contact resources for her. He spent a considerable amount of time calling various county and community resources, trying to identify any possible shelter for the respondent and her child. In working with Anoka County Child Protection, a shelter was eventually identified, and Deputy Pearson then drove the respondent and the child to a local hotel where they would stay until they could work with other resources for a more permanent solution. Deputy Pearson then assisted the respondent in carrying her belongings to the room as she cared for her child. Though you're only tasked to ensure the removal of the female from that location, Deputy Pearson's actions clearly go above and beyond his role and are an example of his strong character and our commitment to serving others in ways that exceed expectations. So for your compassion and additional actions taken for the welfare and the mother of this child, we're proud to present you with an office commendation. Next up, Deputy Michael Arthur for a life-saving award. Excuse me. On September 11th, 2020, deputies responded to an address in Andover on a report of a missing 7-year-old boy with autism. Upon arrival, deputies met with the family members. The boy was last seen in the backyard, and deputies immediately became concerned with a large pond that was visible in the backyard. Deputies quickly began to search the area around the pond. Family members located clothing of the missing boy near the shore. The search was then focused on the water. The boy was located, floating approximately 10 feet into the water past some thick reeds. Deputy Arthur arrived and immediately began taking off his uniform, ditching his belt, his shirt, and his vest, and without hesitation ran into the water and swam out to the lifeless boy. He brought the boy to shore, exhausted, and handed him to awaiting deputies. Once out of the water, Deputy Arthur joined in assisting with CPR compressions until fire and a line of paramedics arrived on scene. A faint pulse was found prior to transporting the boy to Mercy Hospital. The boy was stabilized and transferred to Children's Hospital. Unfortunately, 2 hours later, the boy did pass away. However, for your immediate actions, complete disregard for self, your valiant efforts to save a young life, we are honored to present you with a life-saving award. Next up, we have a group award for life-saving, and I think in light of the small stage, maybe we'll have you, I'll come across the front, and then we'll bring you on stage one at a time for your actual award. This group, if you can come forward for a life-saving award, Deputy Christopher Gordy Vitek, former Deputy Dan Zimmerman, now with the Blaine Police Department, and Andover firefighters Bill Dietzler, Chris Dvorak, Larry Elfelt, Aaron Groven, Tom Johnson, Pat Nugent, Ernest Sugar, Tammy Dietzler, as well as Alina EMS paramedic Mike Vanderheiden, EMT Dana Bentfield, and two citizens to join us, Tiffany LeBlanc and Chloe LeBlanc. I also want to take a minute just to say thank you to Brent Bakken, who's the operations supervisor, Dennis Jones, who's our fire chief of the Andover Fire Department that we're thrilled to have here as one of our partners. On January 21st, 2021 at 8:59, deputies, Andover Fire, and Alina Emergency Medical were dispatched to an Andover residence for medical involving an unresponsive female. Upon arrival, Deputy Vitek found a family member performing chest compressions on the victim. It was later discovered that 15-year-old Chloe and the victim's granddaughter, Tiffany, had begun chest compressions prior to deputies' arrival. Deputy Vitek and Deputy Zimmerman took over CPR, and then Andover Fire arrived and assisted with CPR and connected an AED. Shocks were delivered to the victim, a Lucas machine was placed on the victim, and mechanical form of compressions was initiated. Andover firefighters and Alina EMS provided advanced level of life-saving care to the female, and the female was transported to the hospital where she survived the medical emergency. She was discharged from the hospital with a complete recovery. Due to your quick actions and teamwork, Tiffany's mom and Chloe's grandmother survived the medical event, and I'm proud to present each of you with the life-saving award. But before you do, we have a guest of honor here today, and if you'd be willing to come up, I think I'll ask the group in front of the stage here to turn around and face the stage and hear some awesome words from the life that you saved. Dito. Please, the podium is yours.
I would like to thank each and every one of you for saving my life. I wouldn't be here today without you and Chloe and Tiffany. You guys are really great. Thank you.
Never forget. That's why we do what we do. Do our best to get these in order. Deputy Vitek. Nice job. receiving the medals, feel free to pick up the boxes afterward. We can grab one if you want. Deputy Zimmerman. Officer Zimmerman. Paul Blessy. Okay. Bill Dietzler. Chris Dvorak. Larry Elko. Aaron Groban.
Thank you so much for saving my life.
Keep it color on it.
Nice job.
Tom Johnson.
It is. Let's try to get to
Pat Nugent.
Pat's not here.
That's not very
So it's never saving my life.
good. Ernest Scherger.
It is.
Tammy Dietzler. Mike Vanderheiden. Dana Benfield.
Thank you for working on this matter and saving my life. Took a while.
Tiffany LeBlanc. And Chloe LeBlanc.
Thank you so much for saving my life, working hard on me. Be here today without you guys.
It's hard enough for professionals to find themselves in that situation on a regular basis, but it's even harder for someone to step up and perform those heroic actions on someone that you know and love. So we're crazy proud of you too. And that completes that life-saving award. Thank you all very much for taking part in it. And next up, we have Chief Deputy Kevin Helwig, who has been standing to my side and assisting me, not just in today's ceremony, but literally every single day of our operations. And while I recognize Chief Deputy Helwig would rather not be standing up here and specifically would not want an award in so much as said so, we've received incredible feedback from not only staff but from other leadership across the metropolitan area, as well as our own command staff who were able to watch him and myself, watch him and his actions and his leadership play out during last year's unrest. Our summary is on Monday, May 25th, 2020, or Memorial Day, George Floyd tragically died during the interaction with 4 Minneapolis police officers. And that death came while Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin knelt on Mr. Floyd's neck for over 9 minutes. The incident was witnessed by numerous enraged bystanders, and various parts were captured on multiple cell phones and business security cameras. Over the next 2 weeks, video of and the outrage over the incident spread worldwide, setting off protests all over Minnesota, the United States, and around the world. Protests in Minneapolis turned into full-scale riots in which law enforcement officers from around the state, as well as the National Guard, were called upon to restore order. The riots included assault, arson, looting, and vandalism. Beginning on the evening of Wednesday, May 28th, the Anoka County Sheriff's Office committed significant staffing and resources for the next 10 days and was an instrumental agency in helping to bring about an end to the rioting and a return to peace within the communities. Chief Deputy Helwig was identified as Incident Commander for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, and he rallied the office under our mission identified as Broken Arrow. During this time, all licensed staff were called into work and vacations were canceled. Before each mission, Chief Deputy Helwig carefully planned and prepared for the office activities of that day. He orchestrated well thought out plans, and many of the successes of the operations were a direct result of his leadership. Excuse me. Each day presented different challenges resulting in new or updated mission plans, and he was able to successfully bring together members of all licensed divisions and other partnering law enforcement partners from around the state and lead them in very complex circumstances. This was especially impressive since many staff had never worked together under the intense stress of an environment that they were sent into. As the world watched and the unrest and lawlessness unfolded, Chief Deputy Helwig maintained a clear focus on the mission to protect the public and restore order. He was successful in maintaining public safety operations at home while also assisting in the unrest in Minneapolis. And Chief Deputy Helwig was also instrumental at the MAC, or the Regional Command Center downtown, in one of the leadership roles, and was instrumental in guiding the peaceful as possible resolutions for that chaos that the city was experiencing. So to his dismay, Chief Deputy Helwig, for your sound leadership and dedication to the mission and service to our communities, I'm privileged to award you with a Medal of Meritorious Service. Well, as can be seen by the awards today, the members of our office and this entire profession are truly committed to the safety of our citizens and the communities that we proudly serve. And it is also clear that the members of the Anoka County Sheriff's Office are committed to the ongoing safety and security that we all cherish as we go about our daily lives. But it is equally apparent that we are not in this battle alone. Our partners in public safety and brave citizens also selflessly step up to serve our communities in many, many ways every single day. Our staff members and public safety partners who are honored today are examples of the dedication that we all have to our sworn oath to you and to our communities. And to our citizens that were on stage today, well, as I said, they are truly heroes, and I'm grateful for you. Our commitment to protect and serve the community in a manner that preserves the public trust will never just be a group of words in our mission statement, but rather a solemn commitment to the community that we proudly and willingly serve. See, I believe we are all given an opportunity to make a difference in our communities, and it is what we do with that opportunity that defines us. And today's recipients have defined themselves as willing to go above and beyond to put others first and to write a different story, to literally protect and serve our communities in a manner that preserves the public trust. Immediately following our ceremony, we'd like to get some follow-up photos of our award recipients in a group photo. If you'd be willing to join us on stage again, on behalf of the entire Anoka County Sheriff's Office team, thank you to each of our award recipients for your dedicated service and your selfless sacrifice.